Hi there, Heather Crider here, and I hope you're doing great. There is so much going on, especially this time of year, depending upon when you're watching this, but especially in the digital marketing world. I've had so many conversations lately with people whom I've known for a very long time and people who are new to growing their business or having an online business or the digital marketing space. And the conversations always end up relatively the same. How do I grow my business? What do I need to do to attract more clients, more of the perfect clients? How do I continue to attract those people? What do I do? It's overwhelming, it's confusing. The digital marketing space is constantly throwing things at you, quite frankly, just to overwhelm you. And this is what I'm going to say. Number one, there are many ways to skin a cat, and there is no right way that fits for everybody. Your situation's different. Your business is different. You have unique things that you're offering to your clients that are going to be different. Your clients have different needs from someone else's. But having said that, the fundamentals don't change. And I cannot stress that enough. That's really the main conversation that I have every day with my clients. The people that I help serve and grow their businesses is remember, as things are being thrown at you and overwhelming you, that means their marketing is working to you. And you have to stay consistent with your path and what you have laid out. The fundamentals don't change. So we can talk about that another day, another time. But I want to preface that because what I'm going to talk about in just a second is going to tie in together. So I received several questions this week and I wanted to take a moment and answer those and hopefully be able to help more than one person here. But let me grab a couple of the questions. And thank you so much. Please continue to send questions to me. I want to be able to help you grow and succeed and have your message and your voice get out there in the world and hit as many people as possible, because that's what it's all about. Us helping other people and getting our message. No matter if it's a product or a service, we want to be able to help other people. So here's the question for today. And thank you. This comes from Jonathan. Thank you, John, for sending this to me. How do you maintain content delivery and keep your message? So there's multiple things going on in this question. I'll try my best to condense it the best way possible. First of all, I love talking about your message because people don't take time to fully understand and master their message. If you haven't had a chance to go through, I have several things, several freebie workbooks that talks about how to master your unique marketing message or how to create that unique marketing message. It's a very simple process, but most people don't take time, first of all, to go through that. Most people want to get straight to selling their product, or most people are concerned about money, which is understandable, and just trying to sell. But if you don't take some time to take a step back and really not just craft or construct what your message is, but taking the time to fully understand who your audience is, what they want, what they need, and how to communicate with them. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about how we can help our audience. And then bridging that gap of this is my message and what I want to convey, but how I want to convey it to you. So for example, you need more clients, or you need to grow your business, or you need to streamline your business or automate your business, or perhaps find ways to make it more efficient. Find ways to spend less time working in your business. There's a multitude of things that's going on inside of your business. But right now, today, we're talking about content delivery and keeping and maintaining your message. I promise I won't get off on too many tangents because I have a tendency to do that because this is so important. There's so many things going on here. We keep the fundamentals. We keep going back to the fundamentals. One of the first things in the fundamentals and in my 6 steps to attract and retain the perfect client is mastering your marketing message. If you don't know your audience, If you don't know their wants, needs, desires, if you can't speak and think to them clearly, you want them to say, oh my gosh, you read my mind. You want everything that you write to be able to resonate with them. Your headlines, your blogs, no matter what it is, your videos, your offerings, what you're providing for them, not just free, but the actual services or products, you want to really resonate with them. So it's not about your message, it's about what the perfect bridge of your message and what their wants, needs, desires, fears, frustrations, doubts, whatever those things are. If you haven't taken the time to really go through and master your marketing message, that's the first thing I would say. Master your marketing message. And I'll put some links to a free webinar and a workbook that I created to really help you do that. So it's really understanding your audience, making sure that when you're communicating, that you communicate effectively, right? So let's go back to the first part of this question, which was how to maintain content delivery. So this can be a complex question to answer, because maintaining it and keeping your message, the first thing you have to decide is the content you're putting out relevant? So obviously we go back to that whole mastering your marketing message thing. And as long as you know what the core message is, then you can veer off on things that are relevant to your audience. So every single thing that you put out as far as content doesn't have to be 100% the core message, as long as it's relevant to what those core needs, wants, desires of your audience. So individually, obviously, if there's something I can help somebody get over a hurdle here, let me know. But from what I'm gathering, the main point of this question is how do you just make sure that you're true to what your message is in your content delivery? And number one, just stay true to what your message is. As long as you understand it and you fully know it, you embrace it, you have your mission, you have your values, you have your core strengths at your business, and you always remember those when you're putting out content. Content can be in so many different ways. You can video blog, you can have articles, podcast, free webinars, freebies, just in your offerings, you name it. There's different ways, obviously, to have content. So keep relevant to what your main message is. Keep relevant to what those needs are of your audience. You'll make sure that you don't lose sight of what your message is. I believe that that's really the core here of what we're talking about. So another thing you can do, what I like to do for my clients is every month sit down with a core theme for that month. And depending upon your business, sometimes doing a weekly theme works much better. Sometimes monthly works great too. But you have a core theme and you just set an outline for that theme. And then you decide what content you want to create. Maybe it's things you've already created, or maybe it's getting ready for an offer or a program or a new product. So you have to kind of think ahead. What's your goal? And then back into what content you want to create, how to deliver that content. So if we have the theme, if we have a weekly or a monthly theme, then we decide, okay, maybe I'm going to release 2 podcasts this month, maybe 1 this month, maybe a video blog, maybe just a written blog, maybe an article. So here's what I'm going to say on content. Do a realistic schedule that you can actually maintain. And what I mean by that is, don't say that you're going to deliver content each and every day and your schedule not be able to fulfill that. That's the worst thing you can do, is promise this or come out of the gate and start delivering for a week or two, just really, daily, frequent, and then a couple weeks later, you can't do it, right? You want to stay consistent. You can always increase your frequency, but don't come out of the gate too aggressive and not be able to keep up with that. It's better to work in slowly and then learn more automation and to be able to maintain that level of content. The other thing I want to say about content is do what you like to do. Meaning, a lot of people feel like I have to blog or I have to write, and some people say I hate writing. Well, there's ways to work around that, but if you hate writing, then don't write. Do video, do chats, do live streams, do podcasts. If talking or video is your thing, then stick to that. Then later we can talk about how to take those video or podcasts, transcribe them, and then turn those into print or workbooks or different ways you can take that content and follow up. So don't pigeonhole yourself into a certain content that you think you have to do because people say you have to do. That's the worst thing, because if it doesn't really connect with you of, hey, I love video or I hate video, then just don't do it. There's so many different ways to get content out there right now. And I can help you with specific strategies if you really get stuck on that. But let's go back to creating a schedule, right? When you sit down for the month and you plan your schedule, decide what type of content you're going to create. Maybe it's just a short little social media post. Maybe it's a full blog. Like I said, maybe it's a podcast that you want to have transcribed and then have that printed on your blog. Do block content. And what I mean by that is set time in your schedule where you sit for an entire day or 2 days and block out and bang out that content. What tends to happen, especially when business owners don't have resources with staff yet, is business owners tend to have all this ambition and don't fulfill it, and then feel like they're behind, and then feel like they have to keep up and they can't. So that's why I like this monthly theme and setting a calendar based upon, I'm going to set Monday and Tuesday, the first Monday and Tuesday of the month, and I am going to just bang out content. And what tends to happen is you get yourself in these creative modes, and once you're in that, you're cranking out content and you're able to stick with it, your mind is able to really relax and focus on that, and then it just starts flowing. Those creative juices start flowing, and you have a whole lot more to work with versus the stop and start method where you're once or twice a week trying to come up with something and you're also trying to do a million other things. It takes you a really long time to be able to stop and start and then get back to the groove of having the content. Okay, so now let's talk about delivering content through social media. This is really where it starts getting overwhelming because most people say you have to be on all social media all the time, all day long, and there's some truth to that because you have to think about social media first and foremost as a rolling news feed. No matter what social media platform, if you post something, it's not just going to stay there all day for all your followers to see. It is a rolling news feed. So you have to be able to post it multiple times throughout the day. It doesn't mean you can't repost the same thing or even repost something that you've posted before. But don't drive yourself crazy with social media. Again, until you get your business ramped up to a certain level, it is impossible to be able to be on all social media all the time, all day. Pick one or two platforms that resonate not only with you, but where your customers, your potential customers, clients, traffic, whomever, where they're at and what social media that they use most. That's the best strategy, is to be able to really target where they're at, pick that one or two platform and start there and start slowly. And again, come up with a schedule of content that makes sense for you and how and when you can deliver it. I do have somewhere on my website, and I can add the link to the written copy of this post as well. I have a social media timing and the best days and the best times of when to post on social media. So the suggestion with that is, if you're going to create just post, perhaps it's just pictures or inspiration, or maybe it's an article that you've written and you want to create schedule to be able to when to post that, then automate it. You can use, there's several different social media automators that you can use that, again, when you sit down and you're blocking time to create it, you can go ahead and throw it in the automator to schedule of when to actually post it. Facebook is doing a good job now in the business side. If you have a Facebook page, that you can schedule content to post there. So I would recommend using the Facebook's scheduler over some of the other schedules first, because they're going to be able to get it in front of more people. But in addition to that, I have one of my own for Heather J Crider social media tool that you can use. It's free. There's Hootsuite, there's Meet Edgar, there's the Co-Scheduler app. There's all sorts of them, and quite frankly, there's really none that are significantly better or worse than others. It's more a matter of what you like and what you get used to, and there's paid features obviously on all of those. Just pick one. Just pick an automation tool to be able to help you. You can always change things later. This is where people really start getting stuck, is they want to be perfect. They want to do everything right the first time, and I don't disagree with that. We all want to do things the right way, but guess what? You usually get stuck in perfection paralysis, right? We get stuck in, if it's not perfect, then I shouldn't put it out there. And that's the worst thing that you can do, because it's never going to be perfect. As long as you get going, get it out there, get something moving, it's okay. You can improve and make things better later. But right now, just get going. Just move the truck and start climbing that mountain, right? But consistency and the automation and having the social media automator will help that. So let's kind of go back to the original question, which was how to maintain content delivery and keep your message. So if I go back and really understand my audience, understand what I'm trying to offer for them, what do I need, how do I need to speak to them, what do they need, what do they need to hear, what is it that I can provide. I don't care what your business is. If you're a travel agent, or you have a clothing line, or if you're a personal development coach, or if you have software, or if you're a social media guru, or if you have a brick and mortar business that has really awesome coffee or juice, I don't care what your business is, you need to know your client. You need to understand your message to be able to translate to them. A marketing message is not the same thing as what my core values are. And this may be where some people start getting stuck, as they feel like, my message is to help the world. My message is my mission is to be able to help other businesses grow, automate, and have more fun with less stress. I want business owners to be able to grow their businesses, to be able to really dial in to what suits them best, have more revenue with a whole lot less stress, less time working in your business, and have a whole lot more fun. That's a mouthful, right? But inside of that, there are things you need that my marketing message needs to speak differently to. So for example, if you're struggling with copywriting, let's say, then my message to you for being able to help you with copywriting is how to create killer content, how to write the perfect headline that attracts and retains clients, how to attract a client with one headline, how to attract the perfect clients with one word. this is all copy stuff. Marketing message is all copy. It's all learning how to speak the right things at the right time. So what I'm getting at is when you're creating content, just always keep in mind what those core needs, desires, wants, fears, doubts, frustrations. What is your audience? What are those things from your audience? So when you're creating things, you can speak to those. If I go back to the content creation schedule, and if I'm sitting here and I'm really trying to think about my audience, I'm going to write down what I'm offering, what their needs are, what their wants, desires, whatever. And then I'm going to say, okay, this blog post is an article that would really be relevant to my audience and help them. So I may go ahead and title my blog post. I may title it and then write a little bit about what I want the summary to be. I may not actually write it at that time. Then I'm going to go ahead and create potential Facebook posts or potential articles that I know that would be relevant, or motivation or inspiration or pictures. I may go ahead and outline a podcast or video ideas. It's more of creating this bank of ideas that will always fit my audience. And if I have that bank of ideas, when I go to do block time and I block out that time to do the content creation, I've got it all there. I'm never, ever, ever without ideas. So I would suggest to you, and I talk about this in my book, and I talk about this in one of my programs for the Digital Marketing Bootcamp, the 6 steps to attract and retain clients online. But one of the very first steps is have a notebook with you at all times. I use Evernote a lot, and that's what I'm using right now to just kind of take notes and kind of have an outline. But I have different notebooks allocated to different things, obviously. But having one that's a content creation. So if I have, for example, I used just a moment ago the idea of copywriting. I have a program coming up soon called Headline, which is how to master your marketing message through your headline and your content wording. So it's copywriting. So inside of that, I have notes and ideas and content creation, content schedules, different blog ideas. It's basically your mental data dump. Once you get that out of your brain can free up to be able to think about and concentrate on new things. But if you keep that in your notebook, then you'll always be able to go back to it. Then when you do your block time, or maybe you create your content scheduler or your content delivery, you've got it all there. I hope that makes sense. I am truly not trying to get too off traffic. I do want to talk about repurposing of content. A lot of people feel that repurposing content is not a good thing or icky, or they just don't like it. And I disagree, because I want you to think about something. Repurposing doesn't mean just copying something you've already done and putting it back out there. First of all, think about the nightly news. If you go to your nightly news at 6 p.m. and watch whatever your local news station is, if you watch that and you get the main article, the main headline, the main story of the night, you get it on that nightly news, is that the one and only time you hear about that main thing? And I hate using the news as an example because it's always negative news, right? And I don't watch the news because it's horrible and negative, and we need a whole lot more happy, fun, good, positive stories, because believe it or not, those things do still exist in the world. However, what I'm trying to say is, do you get one shot at hearing the main feature daily news? No. You may get it on one station, and then another station airs the same exact story but in a little bit different way. Then you're going to see it on a million different websites, You're going to see it in maybe even Google Apps on your phone or your Google Card. You may have your news, you may have Fox News set up, whatever it is. You're going to see it on social media. You're going to see a news story broadcasted, and then they may do a Facebook Live, or they may have a little video clip in one of their social media platforms. Or you may see it in the newspaper. You may see it in a magazine. So my point is, one thing that happened, one big story, you're going to see it in a million different ways, sliced and diced, have different perspectives. So I look at that as why, when you have a good article or good content, why is repurposing a bad thing? It's not. You have to be able to put content out there in different ways for people to get it. Like I was talking about earlier, of if doing video is your thing, then do a video and then have it transcribed. And then once you have it transcribed, then you can edit it, you can slice it. Maybe you make a workbook out of it. Maybe it's a wonderful freebie type of tool. Maybe it is something that you can create a blog post on. You can then chunk it up, and maybe you can create, based upon one segment of that video blog or Facebook Live or whatever live chat you do, then you can write an ebook off of, or you can write a blog series off of the topics that you had within that. So this is where we tend to get stuck on thinking we have to be perfect again, but repurposing content is just being efficient and being smart and being able to deliver in as many ways as we possibly can to get our message out there or just get information out there. So I want to say that in a way that it's not icky, because I think a lot of people talk about repurposing as a negative or bad thing or slimy. As long as you're not copying word for word someone else, it's okay. And I want to say this too. Plagiarism is not cool. Okay, let's just get that off the table. It's not cool. There's never a good time to plagiarize. But I do want to say that there is no real original idea or topic. Let's just be honest about that. I would love to think that I am that fabulous, that I come up with these wonderful things every day. It's just not true. I've read enough books where I'm seeing ideas from one book and you can see it translated in another book in a different way. We're all just having our own spin on things and our own perspectives and our own experiences that we're bringing in to being able to share things, right? We're all unique. That's why one of my programs, and I'll be glad to give you a copy of a free download, is your unique value marketing message, because we all have our unique experience to bring and perspective. So when we think about repurposing content, we think about having to be original all the time. You just got to get over that because we're not that original. We just aren't. And in history, if we go back and if we study things long enough, we'll see ideas that others have had before us. But it doesn't mean we can't do it. It doesn't mean we can't make it better or different or our own. That's what I mean by the whole original idea thing, because we're all original in our own way, right? Let's go back to making sure that we have fully answered this particular question. And I've already said it a million different ways, I think, but maintaining content delivery is really about what works for you and what you can actually do and feel comfortable with. Now, I want to say with this that I think a lot of people feel that quantity over quality is the way to go, meaning frequency. Just post the crap out of everything. Just put blogs up, just podcasts, whatever. And I personally disagree with that. I think consistency is good. I think frequency can be good if you're already at the level, you can maintain it. A lot of people just want just velocity, just throw it out there, just get it out there. And I think quality is more important. I would rather you spend time with me once a month and it's really good quality time than every day and it's you come away going, it's okay. That's just my preference and opinion as well. There's a lot of people that just podcast or put videos or Facebook Live all day long, and I don't know, maybe you find that it's all quality, but do what works for you, first of all. But something I want to say to that is in terms of quality, if you don't know that core message, again, if you don't really fully understand what your clients need, want, then a lot of times we're just really trying to just put something out there. And that's when we lose sight and we're just delivering just for the sake of delivering. And I just ask if that's really effective, because if we're delivering for the sake of delivering content just to say we did, then you're not really ever going to resonate with the right clients. And in my opinion, that's what it's about. I don't want you to have 1 million followers and only have 2 clients. Does that make any sense? No. You want to have maybe 100 followers and have 50 clients. That's a much better proportion of people who are buying from you than just having great numbers. And we get stuck, especially now in social media, we get stuck in great numbers. Our egos get in the way. It's sexy to say, oh my gosh, I've got 1 million followers. Look how great I am. I don't care about that. That doesn't mean anything to me if they're not good quality followers who are also the right type of buyers. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to attract the right people at the right time. So think about that in when you're delivering your content and making sure that you're really resonating. If you fully understand your audience, then what you deliver will be easy because you get them. You get what they need. It's not a struggle. So that disconnect or that concern of disconnect of am I always going to deliver the right things? It's never going to be a concern because you know them well enough that you know what to deliver. You know how. And you can always change your mode of delivery, meaning if you try doing videos and you decide that it's not for you, that's okay. You can always change your mode of delivery as long as you're consistent. Now, I had a conversation, I will say, the other day with someone that was really bashing every possible social media outlet that there was. YouTube, Facebook, um, really discouraging people, all outlets, not just those two, everything. And this conversation led to really discouraging business owners from putting anything out there. And I was really quite frustrated, to be honest, that this conversation occurred because it's not about not putting things out there. It's about you have to understand where your clients are, you going out there to them, but then connecting with them in a way that you get them off of those platforms quickly. And what I mean by that is I do believe in email is the greatest thing that you can do to be able to connect with your clients. Once you have a relationship with your clients, for example, let's say you have a YouTube channel and you YouTube regularly, you have good quality content, you're really trying to resonate with your clients, you're making an impact to those people. You want to constantly have ways for them to get off of YouTube and into your email list. And if you follow my formula, these 6 steps to attract and retain clients online, I talk about that. And that's one of the big things inside of the formula is understanding right place at the right time and how to move them from one outlet to another. And then still be able to touch and attract them through those processes. So if you'd like more help with that, please let me know and I'll be glad to kind of walk you through that. But I think for today, I feel I've answered the initial question. I know there's a lot in here, and I probably got way off topic on that particular one. But just remember, you should take your time in writing good quality if you feel that's what it's going to take to really resonate with your clients. You want to take time to understand your clients thoroughly. You want to understand as much as you can about them. Do that research, really get inside of their heads, and don't be creepy or stalky. Don't do things that are gross, illegal, immoral, all those things. You know what I mean? I'm not suggesting that you would do that, but just a disclaimer. Um, you want to get to know your clients as best you can, your audience, your potential audience. If you have no followers right now whatsoever, that's okay. As long as you understand what you're trying to offer, then you'll be able to speak to them and resonate to them. Just just go. Have block time, create a content schedule. Just get out there, stay consistent. There's no perfect way, so make mistakes. Making mistakes are the best thing you can do because you know what doesn't work. So I wish you all the luck. Please stay in touch with me. Comment, respond back, follow whatever you can do, whatever I can do to help you. Let's stay in touch. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.